Hi, I'm Hunter McCarty, and I'm from Oxford, Michigan.
James Sproul, Aurora, Ontario.
I'm John Karras from Huntington Beach, California.
Layton Cook, Orangeville, Ontario.
Nicholas Gallery, Austin.
Robin McGrain, Oshawa, Ontario.
Tom, Louis Office, New Hampshire. Aiden Waller, Little Britain, Ontario.
Cam Beckett, Oshawa, Ontario. My name is Charlie Foster. I'm from Des Moines, Washington.
Hi, I'm Hunter McCarty, and I'm from Oxford, Michigan.
James Sproul, Aurora, Ontario.
I'm John Karras from Huntington Beach, California.
Layton Cook, Orangeville, Ontario.
Nicholas Gallery, Austin.
Robin McGrain, Oshawa, Ontario.
Tom, Louis Office, New Hampshire. Aiden Waller, Little Britain, Ontario.
Cam Beckett, Oshawa, Ontario. My name is Charlie Foster. I'm from Des Moines, Washington.
Good afternoon, fans, and welcome to Lemoy Field. High above the field here, Mike Vesci joining you for post-university men's lacrosse, the first home conference matchup of the season. The Eagles had a few games earlier this year in non-conference play. They kicked things off late last week against Holy Family, winning that one on the road to move to 1-0 in conference play. We've got a storyline to bring you today. Robbie McGrain, 6 points away from becoming the all-time program leader in points. Dylan Heald currently has the record. He transferred out after the end of last season. He's at 202. McGrain comes into the game with 197. Aiden Waller is in net for your Eagles. 2-0 so far of the year. He got the start in the last two games against the University of the District of Columbia and then in the opener against Holy Family for conference play. He also came into the game against Malloy University, allowing just 5 goals over the last 40 minutes of that one. He has not allowed 10 or more goals in any one of his starts so far on his young career, and including that time against Malloy. Windy afternoon. It's a sunny, beautiful day, though. The weather's not too bad for this time of year in March here in New England, and we're ready for some lacrosse. Face-off underway. Charlie Foster, who won 70% of his face-offs in the last game against Holy Family, is able to grab that one, and he will not pick up the ground ball. It'll be James Sproul. Sproul, who's having a great year already, is the CACC Defensive Player of the Week a couple weeks ago. The Eagles getting all sorts of CACC awards this past week as they were able to get Lacton Cook, who had 6 goals and 1 assist in both games for a total of 12 goals and 2 assists, 14 total points. Cook was the recipient of the Player of the Week. And then Charlie Foster with those face-off wins, Defensive Player and Rookie of the Week. Aiden Waller in net, a CACC honor roll mention. And that rounded out 3 of 6 total spring athletes who were awarded CACC Weekly Awards. Shot there taken by Will Bryan. Goes wide. In goal for the Cougars is junior Edwin Himmel-Maines. Like I mentioned, for the Eagles, it's Waller, and that's McGrain's first point of the day. Put it on the nope. They're going to say it's a crease violation. McGrain with the crease violation, no goal, and will play on as Caldwell will take it out. So McGrain nearly had his first point of the day. Again, he needs 6 for the record. Can he do it today against Caldwell? We'll see. Waller with a nice save there against Bonfiglio, and it's picked up over there by Pouliot. Pouliot throwing it across to his defensive partner on the left side in Cam Beckett, the senior from Bowmanville, Ontario. And the Eagles are off and running, looking to clear. Pouliot does. They get it across to Van George, who had his first collegiate goal against Stack a couple weeks ago. Nearly got the game winner from that one, but was unable. The Eagles were unable to hold on to the lead despite having a man-up advantage inside of the final minute. Ball taken away over there by Alberti, Joseph Alberti for Caldwell, and back with it come the Cougars. About a minute and a half gone by here. We've gone through a lot in these past minute and a half since we came on air. And the score is 0-0 with the Eagles currently leading in shots. Well, excuse me, we're actually tied in shots 1-1, and both teams have been able to clear the ball across their sides. Perfect 2 for 2 so far. Eagles riding a 2-game win streak. Caldwell looking for their first win of the season, coming to this one 0-5 and 0-1 in conference play. Right now threatening with the ball, moving it around on the offensive side are the Cougars. Johnson now has it over to the right side to Galtfelter. Galtfelter behind the net. Waller looking over to that side to see what he can see over there. Can't quite see who that number was. That was Pinkham behind the net with a 0. Looked like an 8 from this angle for a moment. Looked like they were trying to get a shot off there. I think that was Pinkham who tried to get a shot. No, excuse me, Fasoli who tried to get a shot off, and it was taken away by the Eagle defense, and Waller got it into his stick. Clearing it across successfully are the Eagles. With it right now was Gavin Lee. Now it's over to Ryan Denike, who became a member of the 100-point club a couple games ago against UDC on the road. That was a 24-5 victory for your Eagles, nearly tying the program record, breaking the program record for most single-game goals. Last year against Holy Family, they had 23, which is the second most all-time. Obviously, if 24 is, the third most, since 24 tied it for the lead. Denike up top with it. Looks to try and work in. A nice little pick set there by Brian to get him down low. And now you see behind the net with it is McGrain. Cook in front. McGrain coming around side. And it's stopped there by Himmel Maines. Race to the ball is won by the Eagles. Will stay on the offensive side. Cook behind the net with it. Back there with him is Denike. Cook looking to come across. Gets it up top, and that one's fired in there. Looks like it was blocked in front. Gabe Roman with the shot. And a race for the loose ball is given to Tarnowski of the Cougars, and back the other way with it comes Caldwell. Cross midfield with it, looking for it. Around a bunch of people we got up here. Pinkham with the shot, he scores. Gavin Starr to Connor Pinkham. Pinkham's first goal of the game. Caldwell takes the early 1-0 lead. On the second goal of the game for Caldwell, it's Pinkham converting on the shot and score. He's now tied for the team lead in goals with 6. 3 Caldwell players have 6 goals now with that one. Gonna get a face-off violation there, and it will go to Caldwell. So Pinkham with 6 goals now on the year with that one, and early on in this one, it's 1-0 Cougars. Briefly looked like they were going to get a takeaway there too from Pouliot, but it ends up staying in favor of the Cougars as Pouliot last to touch goes out of bounds. Caldwell in the red with the gold numbers, which are a little bit difficult to see just from my vantage point where I am up here because of the tight space in between some of the circles on the zeros. So excuse me if I have a little bit of trouble calling out exactly who it is. And that's Pinkham behind the goal looking for another one. He's chased out there by Beckett. Throws it back up top towards that blue line up there on the, what is a mixture of a football/soccer field and playing lacrosse on it as well. Pinkham back up top with it, rotates it around and down low to try and grab that with Spitz. Can't do so. Eagles ball. Waller going to pick it up in the corner. About 5 minutes gone by here. A quick moving quarter. Not a lot of stopping and only 1 goal so far. that goal by Pinkham. That's where we stand right now. 1-0. Another successful clear for the Eagles. Parento gets it across and gives it over to McCarty. McCarty is actually another one who reached the 100-goal mark earlier this year, and as it stands, he has had 167 career points between his time here and at Concordia University. If he's able to get, it's a tall task to do at the end of the season, 33 more points, he would get 200 in his career. As we mentioned, McGrain is chasing after 200 himself. He needs 3 for 200, and McGrain's going to get one right there. Just as I call it out, Robbie McGrain with the goal, his first point of the day. Give him 5 more, and he's got the program record. Right now, though, he sits at 198 in his career, so 2 away from being in the 200 club alongside only Dylan Heald. Those 2 would stand alone if he gets 2 more today. So again, we're on record watch for him here at home. If he doesn't get it today, he'll obviously have plenty more shots. And McGrain, with this game, now moves within 1 game of tying the program record for most games played in a career, which, unless something happened, he will end up setting that record as well. James Sproul is also in pursuit of that, as well as Jalen Brown. So if something were to happen to McGrain, then Sproul or Brown would be able to overtake him and get the games played record. But right now, as it stands, McGrain, if he plays the rest of the season, will be the all-time program record holder for most games played. Face-off violation, Caldwell ball going on the offensive end with 9.5 minutes to go in a 1-1 tie here from Lemoy Field in this second conference matchup of the season for your Eagles, who sit at 4-3 overall with a few non-conference wins, as well as that win against Holy Family on the road this past weekend. Again, Caldwell in search of that first win of the season, 0-5 coming into today. Few changes happening here for the Cougars as it's rolled over by Peter Johnson over to Evan Uriguen, who just came in. Cougars looking to get something going around that post defense, but what we've seen from this post defense so far in the home games is especially James Sproul has really attacked the offensive players that have come across for opposing teams. That's why he's picked up so many ground balls and caused turnovers so far this year. Shot went wide. It'll stay with the Cougars on the offensive end of the field. In fact, taking a look at Sproul's numbers, he's got 42 ground balls and 26 caused turnovers. No one's even close. No one's even got double digits in terms of caused turnovers before him. So Sproul leading the team in caused turnovers with 26. 42 ground balls also does lead the team. The second closest is Charlie Foster with 29, and 20 of those came in the last week. Jackson Holden had been dealing with an injury, so he had not been in the faceoff circle where he had normally been the all-time leader in faceoff wins. And Charlie Foster has kind of taken over a spot in these last few games. It's been phenomenal. 17 of 24 in the last game. And then today, don't have his stats up right in front of me right now, but I believe he won a couple already. He's 1 for 2 on the day. Holden did take 1 so far. Eagles 1 for 3 overall on faceoff wins. DeNike looking to get something in. Shoots, scores. Ryan DeNike with his first goal of the game, and the Eagles take a 2-1 lead with 7:55 remaining in the first quarter. Found a little bit of space against Edwin Himmelmains and was able to get the job done. So McGrain and DeNike responding with back-to-back goals after Pinkham's early one. Post now leading just as we approach the halfway point. As it'll be Foster in the faceoff circle with Val Soltis, the sophomore Fogo from Westmont, New Jersey, for the fourth faceoff of today's match. A couple of faceoff violations as well so far for both teams that have led to the other getting the ball, not puck, as that faceoff is won briefly by Caldwell, and then it's taken away. I believe that's going to be a caused turnover for Foster. Couldn't quite see exactly who got it, but Soltis lost it. The caused turnover will go the way of the Eagles, who look to clear. Gallery briefly bobbles it, and now he's hounded by a couple of Cougar defenders there. And across safely with it is the clear. McGrain's now got it on the offensive end. Wind's starting to pick up here, so if you hear any of that, that's why. It's a very windy day here at Lemoy Field, which makes the sun feel not so good unless you are directly in it. DeNike up top near about the 40-yard line. Going in with it, trying to get something going there. Picks it back out to McGrain, who goes back out to the 40 himself. Moving in with it is Roman. Roman looking for some space. Tries to get to DeNike, can't do so. It's going to be a turnover by him, and it's picked up by Drake. The ground ball going the other way. They give it back to Himmelmains as they look to clear here. About 6.5 to go. Neither team calling a timeout. Closely contested matchup. This is how the Eagles started against Holy Family last game, too. They took an early 3-0 lead. Then they allowed the next 3 goals. We are tied up in the second quarter. And then they ended up finishing out the half on a 5-1 run. Took an 8-4 lead into halftime and rolled through the second half with 9 more goals to get that victory. A big 5-1 third quarter helped pace them the rest of the way. As that clear attempt is going to be no good. It looks like that was Pouliot who lost it out of bounds. Caldwell ball on the offensive side of the field. Full head of steam with it is Pinkham, I believe, and he scores. And nope, we're going to get a penalty flag, it looks like. I don't know who it's on, so we'll hold here. Pinkham, yep, they're going to give Pinkham the goal. So Pinkham's second of the game, team leading 7. But we're going to get a penalty come up probably on post if they didn't wave it off. We'll see what the call is right now. All right, waving off the flag because the goal was good. So there was a holding call on post, but it's waved off because Pinkham scored the goal. Kind of like what you see in hockey on the power play. If somebody scores when it's they get a delayed penalty, the penalty gets wiped out. Penalty was wiped out there. We're tied at 2 with Pinkham's 2 goals so far. One face-off by the Cougars, and they're on the offensive attack again with Gavin Starr with it on the near side. Starr just kind of walking around. Pat Iannarelli in his second year. In fact, with a win today, would become the program's all-time leader in wins. At 14-11, the 15th win would be the program record for the most wins for a head coach here at Post University. Galtfelter with it over on the right side. Moving behind the goal with it now. Over there near him is Gallery. Galtfelter now trying to get something in front. Looks to feed it. Does up top to Uriguan. Now coming with it over on that side is Starr. It looked like, couldn't quite see from my angle yet. That was Starr. And now back out with it is Johnson. Johnson looking to move around Lee. And then brings it back out top to Galtfelter. Galtfelter loses it, and that's going to be a race to the ball there. Couldn't quite see who got it, and we're going to get post ball, as Waller has it behind the net. That was Pouliot who picked it up on the defensive end. Grad student coming from Keene State this year. Good clear by the Eagles. And then the pass fed in by Lee is picked up by Cook, who's had a quiet day so far. Over there with it now is McCarty. McCarty kicking it back out to Roman. Out near the 35-40 yard line with it. He throws it into Denike, who just came on. Denike working his way in. In front of him right now is Alberti, and now he goes over to the left, spins back over to the right, looking for some space. Denike over to Bryan. Now Bryan takes it back out. Eagles really taking their time here. 30 seconds left on the shot clock. And with this comes Denike. Denike gets pushed out, and McGrain. Oh, what a beautiful goal by Robbie McGrain. His second of the game. And now that brings him up to 198 points in his career. Again, he's 5 away from tying the record at 202 coming into today. 6 away from the record, which would be 203. Excuse me, that was .199 for him. Math was not my strongest subject in high school or college. So the next one would be 200 for Robbie McGrain. I'm going to write that down so I don't mess that one up. Picked up by post, it's Charlie Foster, and now he gets it back out to Sproul. So 199 for McGrain now in his career. He's looking for .200. Couldn't come here. McCarty with the behind the net. McGrain just in front of him as the defense, and Tarnowski is right there. Sets a pick for McCarty. And now behind it alone is McGrain as McCarty is still with it on the right side. They're kicking it back out to Bryan now. Look for McGrain towards the middle. That's where he is. Bryan with it, working towards the middle. Will Bryan shot, and it's saved by Himmelmains. And now kicking it back out quickly is Caldwell. Trying to go the other way quickly. With it is Bonfiglio. Bonfiglio with numbers in space. Pinkham now's got it over on the left side and into the corner with it. Caldwell will slow things down as they get their offensive players back out on the field and their defenders off. Behind the net with it now is Fasoli. Fasoli kicking it back out to Pinkham. Pinkham Up top to Galtfelter. And now Caldwell will slow it back down over near the blue line. Bringing it in now is Uriguan. The Eagles defense doing a great job of keeping the Cougars out of space in the middle, making them take all their shots from the outside of that circle and away from the center of the goal on Waller. That's going to be just a straight turnover on Caldwell. It looks like that was Starr who wasn't able to get it. And now coming back with it is Pouliot. Pouliot couldn't, geez, it looked like Will Bryan picked that one up, but it was James Sproul who did. And across with it for the clear are the Eagles. Eagles 8 for 9 on clears. Caldwell perfect 5 for 5 so far. Slowing things down now, it's Will Bryan. Looked like he was trying to get it to DeNike, but DeNike doesn't have any room. And now Cook with it. Back up to Bryan. And now they get it over to DeNike. Towards the middle with it is DeNike. McGrain's got it. Again, this would be .200 if he can get it. Or if he gets an assist. Shot there by Bryan, and it's picked up. So McGrain nearly would have picked up an assist there, which would have ended up giving him his 200th point. But we'll wait a little longer for .200. 2 minutes to go here in the first. It's 3-2 Post. Another turnover by the Cougars. Gives it back to Post. Pouliot in space, moves it ahead. McGrain with it. They slow it down. Pouliot now has it. The Eagles taking their time here. About 60 seconds on the shot clock. There's about I'll do the math right now. I got this math correct. 13 seconds between game and shot. DeNike with some space. Passes it over to Roman, who loses it, and it's picked up on the other end by Caldwell. In space, trying to get down the field. That was McCarthy who picked it up. James McCarthy for the Cougars. Pinkham now, who has both goals so far. Got a timeout for Caldwell. We'll take a timeout here. Post leads 3-2 with 1:22 to go here in the first quarter. Welcome back. It's getting colder as the minutes go by, as the wind has picked up on and off. If the sun goes in the clouds, it gets really cold really fast. Caldwell ball after the timeout. 1:22 to go. Eagles lead 3-2. Cougars looking to tie it up here before the end of the first. 68 seconds on the shot clock. And if you're just joining us, Robin McGrain now 199 career points as an Eagle. The next one would be .200, whether it's by goal or assist. So far, though, he's got 2 goals on the day. Back in action, the Cougars probably going to look to waste as much time as they can off of this clock, as it ends up being a turnover there for Caldwell. And back with it will come the Eagles. So the Eagles, with the shot clock being 80 seconds, will just about have enough time to whittle this down to nothing if they so choose to do so. If they want to put some pressure on Caldwell to, in the faceoff dot, they can go for a shot if they end up scoring. But it looks like they're going to settle, as there's about an 7-second differential between game and shot. 45 seconds and counting, now down to 40. Eagles just passing it around. Cook behind the net to McCarty. Again, no urgency right now, but if there's a little space, Himmel-Maines is way out of his net right now. I don't know what he was thinking on that particular play there, as McCarty tried to slip around and find something on that right side. Now coming in with it is Roman. Roman gets it in front, and that looked like it was Cook who shot it. Couldn't quite see it for a second. Ball loose, and it's picked up by Angelo Drake. Himmel Maines, 12 seconds left, tries to get it across, and that's going to be, oh, I thought it was taken away there by Will Bryan. It's not. Coming in transition with it now is Caldwell. Only a few seconds left on the clock, and I can't quite see who shot that. I can never get their number quite right there. I think it was number 12, Owen Tarnowski, who shot it, who's now down. Yeah, that was Tarnowski. So the Eagles after one, 3-2, leading as for the Cougars, it was 2 goals by Connor Pinkham, and it was 2 goals by Robbie McGrain plus Ryan DeNike with a goal. Eagles lead 3-2. We'll be back in a moment for quarter number 2. Welcome back. If you're joining us on the CACC Network or YouTube, we got 20 of you watching on YouTube right now. Feel free to drop a comment in the chat or ask a question. I have the live stream pulled up, and I'll answer it. Maybe we'll do that at a halftime if we get anybody who wants to chime in and ask anything. All right. Anyways, we're back to the thing that matters most, which is the game. Charlie Foster taking the face-off against Val Soltis. 3-2 post. Robbie McGrain on 200-point watch and 203-point watch, because that would be the program record, surpassing his former teammate, Dylan Heel. We're ready to go. Rock and roll here in quarter number 2. Foster not quite able to pick it up. It's going to be picked up over there by McCarthy. McCarthy gets it across midfield. Oh, and it's dropped there by Fasoli, and picking it up really nicely is John Karras, and the other way come the Eagles with it. Karras over to Cook. Cook having a quiet day so far after his Player of the Week outing last week, in which he scored a pretty much a career high too, 12 goals on the week. It was funny too, because Cook's last 2 weeks have featured identical numbers for him in terms of goals and assists in the 2 games that Post has played in each of those 2 weeks. Last week it was 6-1 and 6-1. I believe, if I remember correctly, the week before that it was 3-1 and 3-1 that he got. DeNike now with it up top. Now back out with it is Bryant. Bryant over to Cook. Jess was talking about a moment ago. Cook's shot saved by Himmel Maines. The Cougars will come back the other way, although Cook, oh, what happened there? Himmel Maines loses the control of the ball, and Cook just picks it up, and the Eagles have a goal. Leighton Cook gets on the scoreboard, 4-2 post on the turnover by Himmel Maines. Eagles now leading by 2 goals after that miscue by the junior. It'll be backed in the faceoff circle. Jackson Holden in there against Soltis. So quick little momentum swing there. It looked like Caldwell was going to get out of there without any damage done, and then Leighton Cook made something happen after his own shot. So far in today's game, Waller has 3 saves, 2 goals allowed. For Himmel Maines, 5 saves, 4 goals allowed after that one. It's picked up by Post, and coming away with it was Holden. He loses it, though. That's going to be a, turnover. No, I'm sorry, no turnover there. Leighton Cook's got it. Can be hard to see from the far side from where we are. McGrain, behind the net with it. They're going to push it back out. McGray now wheeling his way in. Again, next point would be 200 for him, whether it's by goal or by assist. Denike up top to Roman. Roman now with it, trying to work his way in. Roman still trying to push. Can't do so. They'll kick it out to McCarty. McCarty now with somebody on him. The Denike now. Shot is blocked over there by McCarthy. Going to go out of play. Eagles will retain possession as they were the first to get to the ball, it looks like. No, they're going to say Himmelmains got to it first, and it's going to be Caldwell ball. So great job by Himmelmains to hustle over there and force McCarty to have to run after it, and he just wasn't able to win the foot race. Cougars ball looking to clear. McCarthy's got it. Now over to that right side with it. Bonfiglio picks it up after quickly dropping it, and the Cougars get across again. That's a perfect 9 for 9 on clear so far, and that shot is wide by Fasoli. Winning the race to it is the Cougars, who are getting right back at it. That was Starr who was able to get there first. 12:40 to go, 4-2 Eagles. The lone goal of the quarter to Layton Cook by way of a turnover by Himmelmains. It's 4-2 with 12:30 to go. Pass thrown up top by Johnson. Wasn't able to be picked up by anybody, but now Galtfelter's got it over near the Eagle logo at center field. Galtfelter now working one-on-one with Bryan. Has no space. Nice defense by Bryan, and Bryan's going to get that one on the ground and turn over for the Cougars. And that's Will Bryan all by himself with space. McCarty now has got some space. Passed it over to, that was Layton Cook again, and that's Cook's second. Let Layton Cook, so far, 2 goals on the day for him, just picking up right where he left off last week with his second goal of the day. And now in the last 3 games, he's got 14 goals. By the way, he's got hat tricks in every single game this season except the first one for Post. So far right now, he's on a 6-game hat trick streak. He's going for 7 if he can get 1 more today after he has 2 already in this quarter alone. Heads up play by Layton Cook, as well as Will Bryan, to get out in space and make something happen down there after the turnover by Galtfelter on the offensive end for the Cougars. Face-off won by Jackson Holden. They're off to the races again, the Eagles. Getting that one over to Cook. A nice cross pass there to McCarty. Shot is saved by Himmelmains. Picked up by Cook on the ground ball on the right side. Cook back up top, and they're going to slow it down as Sproul now gets it over to Roman. Roman now, as they rotate in a few guys. Van George coming back out onto, that's Connor Denny, the freshman, who's coming out onto the field now. Cook now back up to Denike. Denike looking for some space. Gets around one defender. Coming towards the middle. A nice pass, and it looked like they were trying to get a shot over to Gabe Roman. Weren't able to do so. The ball ends up going out of bounds, and it will be Caldwell ball. Over there with it is James McCarthy. Himmelmains now looking to push it up. Sometimes you'll see this from the goalies. They're going to try and get it across, and it's successfully cleared there. Wow, it looked like Jalen Brown got something on it. But Bonfiglio took that one away, and now behind the net with it is Spencer Knapp. Knapp getting it over to Gavin Starr. Starr back up top to Galtfelter. Caldwell looking to slow things down. They're trying to get their offense going. So far, it's ran through Pinkham with the 2 goals so far. Now Knapp behind the goal with it. Knapp over to Pinkham, who we just mentioned. Now they're back up top to Fasoli. Fasoli pushing it in. Brown all over him. Pushes Fasoli back out. Galtfelter now pushing it over, and now back over to Starr. A shot from up top. Looks like it was blocked. That was Fasoli with the shot, and Brown with the block. Still loose, and it's picked up over there by Johnson. And yet again, Cougars have played very methodical so far. They're playing a much slower-paced game than you're seeing the Eagles. The Eagles have come out really aggressive, especially in the second quarter, to just kind of go after and attack that Caldwell defense in transition. A nice block there. It looks like Pinkham tried to get the shot off, and I think Pouliot, or one of the post defenders, was able to just get enough on that one to ricochet it up higher than the intended shot originally was. Galtfelter working his way in, and then the shot goes wide. Nothing but net there for Gavin Starr, and Aiden Waller was out of position, and they were not able to get that one to go home. The shot went bouncing into the ground and wide right of the net. Pinkham, though, will retain it. So Cougars will have the ball, 9:58 to go, but we have a timeout here by Post. We'll take a quick break here on YouTube and on the CACC Network. 5-2 Post in the second quarter. Caldwell ball, 9:58 to go in the second. They trail by 3, the Eagles with 2 goals so far in the quarter, courtesy of Leighton Cook. Cook and McGrain with 2 each, Ryan DeNike with the other one, and it's been all Connor Pinkham in terms of offense so far for the Cougars. Gavin Starr had an assist as well so far. 3 total points as a team for Caldwell in this one, and they're looking for more here if they can try and get one back after allowing 2 early goals to the Eagles. Starr lost that one briefly, and then it's picked up over there by Fasoli. Fasoli now pushing it over to Galtfelter, and we're back up top with it. That's Johnson with it. Back over to Fasoli. Fasoli looking for some space, and nothing doing for him as Cam Beckett's all over him. Johnson now, and the shot goes high by Starr. Caldwell will retain possession on the offensive end. Connor Pinkham now with it, bringing it back in. Again, he's got the 2 goals so far on the day for the Cougars. Pinkham looking for some space. He gets it, and then he turns back around. He had some space and then just kind of gave it up. And a flag is thrown. It looks like it's likely on post since they're not stopping play. Unless a goal is scored here, which would wipe it out. Shot there taken, I believe that was by Galtfelter. Waller is able to snag it. It is Galtfelter who took it. Penalty coming on post. We'll get it for you in a moment. Rob Torelli called for the 1-minute slash. It's a 1-minute slashing penalty to Torelli. It is releasable, so if a goal is scored, it will end up bringing us back to a 10-on-10. 9-on-10 right now, though. Caldwell so far this year has 5-man-up goals. The Eagles actually have 3-man-down goals. So some interesting numbers to think about here as we kick this one off. Pinkham up top with it. Back from Galtfelter. Pinkham with it again, looking for some space. Gets it over to Starr. Those have been the 3 that I feel like I've been calling a lot in these last couple of minutes, who have just been maintaining possession for Caldwell. That one's hit in the air by somebody. I think him trying to get his number as he turns right here. Pouliot got a beat on that one, and then Sproul picked it up, and back the other way with it comes Post. And what they can do here is if they can clear and get some space and waste some time, they can get that penalty killed off. Gallery, though, they has 3 Cougars around him trying to take the ball away from him. Offsides by the Cougars. Ref said red. So an offsides called on Caldwell. It's going to be a technical 30 for Gavin Starr. Pretty much wiping out the man up. It'll be 9-on-9 for a little while now. So likely what the Eagles are to do here is to chill, as people would say. They're probably going to chill for about 15 seconds until they get the releasable penalty, and then use that last 15 to try and do something up 10-9 on the field. It's exactly what they're doing, as McGrain had, and now Will Bryan's just waiting for it, and now back in with it come the Eagles. 10 on 9 for the next 10 or so seconds. I lost sight of the ball. They're really nonchalant with it. McGrain now back behind the goal with it is post, and now they get it back up top to Bryan. Bryan over to McGrain. McGrain over there to Roman, and then a shot coming across. Couldn't quite see who got the goal for it. It rang off the post. And that was Robbie McGrain. So Robbie McGrain, with his third goal of the game, is now a 200-point scorer for your Eagles. With that goal that rang off the post, couldn't quite see it, and it looks like Leighton Cook got an assist. Leighton Cook has four points already today, 2 goals, 2 assists. Robbie McGrain, though, now joins the 200-point club, exclusively just him and Dylan Heel. With that one, with 7:42 remaining, he's now 3 points away from the all-time record. Holden in the face-off circle, trying to win that one away. It's still loose. It's going to be picked up by no one still. Caldwell's going to end up grabbing that one, as that's Bonfiglio who picks it up. Bonfiglio now tries to push it ahead to Tarnowski. They do. And across with it now is Soltis. Soltis, the Fogo, on the offensive side with it now. Pinkham in space. Shot saved by Waller. And Knapp is over there to pick it up. And it'll continue to stay with the Cougars on the offensive end. Pinkham back up top to Johnson. Johnson to Fasoli. Pinkham still with it now behind the net. Trying to come across with it, and you can't quite do so. And it's back up top to Galtfelter. Galtfelter, some space over there for Fasoli, quickly taken away by Van George. Now Galtfelter will take it again in front of Parento. Parento now coming down with it, against Galtfelter, and that's going to be a turnover there for the Cougars. So Tom Pouliot will pick it up. 6.5 to go here in the first half, 6-2 post, and right away they just clear that one with no trouble at all. And we're across the line, Leighton Cook with it. 4 points already for Leighton Cook. He leads the team. Now DeNike with it. McGrain running in front of the net left and right. Again, he needs 3 more points for the all-time point record. DeNike now with a little bit of space, shoots, and it goes wide. Looks like it might have hit something on the way as it slowed down, and over there to grab it is McCarty. McCarty now with it behind the net, trying to work it in front. Gets it over to Roman. Roman to Bryan. Bryan trying to find some space, has 2 Cougar defenders on him, and now it's out to McGrain, the senior. Back behind the net with it now is DeNike. DeNike trying to push it in, and gets it in front. Quickly McGrain over to Will Bryan, and Robbie McGrain now add an assist to his total. He's got 201 points in his career. Will Bryan with his first goal of the game. Eagles up 7-2 as they are pouring it on here so far in the second with 4 unanswered goals in the second quarter. And it's 7-2, a 5-goal game now with 5:31 to go. Again, McGrain now just 2 points away from the all-time record. He would stand alone, whether it's a goal or an assist. And he's got plenty of time to do it. It's back at the face-off dot with it. That was Charlie Foster winning it away. Sproul to pick up the ground ball. Sproul now with 4 ground balls in the day, leads the team and leads all players so far with those 4 ground balls. McCarthy for the Cougars has 3. He leads them with that many. Not a lot of cost turnovers for either side so far in this one. It's Connor Denny with it. Eagles on the offensive attack again. McCarty over there. Now McGrain's going to wheel over behind with them. McGrain's going to pass it in front, up top to Brian, who he just helped assist with a minute ago. Now Ryan Denike with it. Denike back over to Brian. McGrain with it. Both teams have been very, very methodical with it. Not a lot of sloppy play. And as I say that, there's a turnover there by Brian, and then McCarthy picks it up and takes it across for the Cougars with 4.5 minutes to go in the first half. And it'll be a timeout for the Cougars, 4:18 to go. They trail by 5, looking to get something going here in the second quarter. As the Eagles have had all the goals so far in this one, 4 unanswered in this quarter alone. 7-2. We'll be right back in a moment. Hey, while we have a moment, why don't we take you around the Eagles? No, I'm not talking about the 2-minute segment that we post on our YouTube page. I'm talking about our day's games so far. Men's golf down in Florida at the St. Anselm Invitational. Looks like they're in third right now. I do not know if this is final yet, but it says they're in third right now, tied at 7 over with Bentley. And Adelphi won that, or is leading it right now at under 5. And then softball, Alyssa Calabrese on the mound right now in game 1 against Bridgeport. Post tied at 0 in the bottom of the first through, well, 1 1/3 of an inning in the bottom half for her on the mound. And here we've got a 7-2 Eagles lead, and we've got history on the horizon possibly for Robbie McGrain, who's 2 points away from the all-time points record, which would be 203. Dylan Heald currently has it at 202. I know I've been saying it a lot, but for those just joining in and everything, we want to keep you up to speed on what's going on here, in case you don't have the live stats up like we do, obviously. Peter Johnson loses that one, and it's picked up on the other end by Beckett. Cross with it on the clear is good for the Eagles, and they're out in transition. The other way with it. McCarty's got it. Throws it in front of Pouliot. Pouliot shot saved by Himmel Maines. And the Cougars will quickly move it up the other way. 3:44 to go. A lot coming out of this timeout right now for both sides. Johnson over to Galtfelter. And I believe we just got an offsides call. Yeah, it looks like it was an offsides call, so they're going to give the ball back over to Post. And away with it come the Eagles. Jalen Brown moving it up. Now Leighton Cook on the offensive side, who, like we mentioned, has already got 4 points in this one. Cook behind the net to McCarty. McCarty over to McGrain. McGrain back to McCarty. Back to McGrain. Denike. Now over to Brian and back to Denike. Everybody in motion for the Eagles, constantly moving. Oh, a nice behind the back pass from Cook, but McGrain just not able to corral it, and it's taken away by Ahmad, excuse me. No, I apologize. Yeah, no, that was Tarnowski who took it away, excuse me. And Caldwell now on the offensive side of the field with it, as Knapp just threw it over to Starr. Lost the ball for a moment there up top with Johnson now. Pouliot all over him, and now Pinkham, who's got the only 2 goals so far for the Cougars with it once more. 2 minutes to go, 45 seconds on the shot clock. Pinkham looking for some space, can't find it, gets it out to Fasoli. Fasoli behind the net over to Starr. Starr back up top to Johnson. And now over to Pinkham. 30 seconds on the shot clock. Pinkham trying to make something happen. Can't do so. Gets it over to Glatfelter. And that one's stopped there. by Waller. Aiden Waller now with 6 saves on the day. Again, he hasn't allowed double-digit goals in any of the games he's started, and even the ones he's coming in relief, he hasn't allowed double-digit goals so far, with only 5 in that one against Malloy. McCarty with it up top to Denike. Eagles trying to waste as much clock as possible. So we're coming up on the end of the first half. Denike with it behind the net. Gets it over to McCarty. McCarty passes it over to Roman, and then they get it up top to McGrain. McGrain inside over to, I couldn't quite tell, and then lost the ball completely there for a moment just from the angle, and Bonfiglio came out with it somehow, and now it's taken away by Cook. Cook in transition the other way with it. He's just going to come out with it. 50 seconds left, so they'll probably hold for last shot. Might as well, if you're the Eagles, just to waste this one out. Don't let Caldwell get any momentum going into the second half is probably what they're thinking. So they're just going to throw it around for a little bit until the clock gets down low and then try and make their move offensively is what it seems like. Nope, we're actually going to get a timeout for post. 7-2, 48 seconds left. 32.9 seconds left. 58 seconds on the shot clock. We'll see if they get that final shot. Will Robin McGrain tie the program record for points before the end of the first half? We'll find it all out next after this timeout here on YouTube and the CACC Network. .9 seconds stand between us and halftime. The Eagles have a 5-goal lead as they've outscored the Cougars 4-0 here in the second quarter. And they're looking to add one more before the end of the first half. 58 seconds on the shot clock, like I said, 32.9 on the game clock, which means they're going to get last shot as long as they want it. Pat Iannarelli drawing something up on the last timeout to not only waste down the clock, but hopefully get another goal and give the Eagles a 6-goal lead going into the second half. Leighton Cook in front with it, makes some space, swims through, and is taken out. And it's back up top to Denike. Denike loses it, and it's going to go over to Cam Beckett, who just pushes it across. Denike will get there. 12 seconds left. Denike has to make something happen here before the game clock runs out. Denike trying to, but can't do so. 5 seconds left. Denike throws it into the middle, and that shot by Cook goes wide. Clock will stop with 1.8 to go. McCarty's just going to have to, you're going to just have to throw it in and hope something's there. And that'll do it. So the Eagles will head into halftime leading 7-2. We'll give you some numbers when we come back to start the second half. But Robin McGrain, if you're just joining us at halftime, 201 career points. He's 2 away from the program record heading into the second half. He's got 30 more minutes to do it here at home, or he'll have to try and do it on the road in the next game. If he does it today, we'll have the interview with you afterwards for that big moment. And it also will be potentially Pat Iannarelli's 15th career win, which would give him the most in program history as a head coach here at Post. But we'll have all that and more in the second half here. Post 7-2 over Caldwell in their first conference game of the season at home. Welcome back. Half number 2 coming up. Well, second half coming up. It'll be 2 quarters. And the Eagles lead 7-2. Robbie McGrain, 3 goals, 1 assist, 4 total points. Leighton Cook also with 2 goals, 2 assists for 4 total points. Ryan DeNike, 1 goal, 1 assist for 2 points. And Will Bryan with 1 goal and 1 point. Connor Pinkham, 2 goals, 2 points. And Gavin Starr, 1 assist for 1 point for Caldwell. Eagles lead 20-16 in shots overall, and then in points overall for the teams, 12-3 on a clear attempt so far. Eagles 16 for 17, Caldwell 13 for 14. Caldwell slightly leading the face-off battle, 6-11. Eagles have won 5 of 11 turnovers, though 15 for Caldwell to 8 for Post. Caused turnovers for Caldwell, 3, Post with 8. Penalties so far, 1 for each team, and offsides for the Cougars, and then it was a 1-minute slashing for Post. So that's where we stand. Half number 2 coming up, third quarter ready to get underway, 15 minutes on the clock. Robbie McGrain, like we mentioned, if you're just joining us here for the second half and you didn't hear about it in the first half, reached 200 career points, only the second player in program history to do so. He is 3 points away, now 2 points away, from the all-time record for points, which would be 203, which he'd set, passing his former teammate, Dylan Heel. Here we go, second half underway. Charlie Foster wins the faceoff, and we're off to the races here in half number 2. Eagles shooting on the right side of your screen to start this one off. McCarty now with it, and now it's McGrain, who all eyes are on for this second half. Holding on to it for Ryan DeNike now to come out. Wind has picked up again. It died down during halftime, and then it picked up again. It feels good in the sun, but there's no sun under a tent. So it's kind of hard to get that feeling out here that feels good in the warmth. Ball is loose on the ground. No one able to pick it up yet. It's just between some people's legs, and now picking it up finally is Angelo Drake. So a turnover for them, and then, it looks like almost Himmel Maines nearly lost it himself again. He lost one in the first half, which ended up resulting in a Leighton Cook goal, and Caldwell a little bit sloppy here, trying to get it over midfield. As now picking up is McCarthy. McCarthy now falls down, and it's taken away by McCarty. McCarty behind the back tries to get to McGrain up ahead. That's going to go out of bounds. It goes back to Caldwell. So neither side really able to control the ball so far here to start the first minute and change of the second half, third quarter of the second half. Himmelmain's with it up at near the blue line, and he's going to get over to Bonfiglio. Is that clear or successful? McCarthy now out the other way with it. That's Salzoni with it over on the right side, I believe. Can't quite see. No, I apologize. That was Starr with it over there. Can be very hard to see that far side on the field, even with the condensed field compared to a soccer match that we play here. Johnson now with it up top, trying to get something going. And that Eagle defense has just been really solid all day. Aiden Waller only faced 8 shots in the first half. On goal, I should say. Pinkham now, shot goes wide. It'll stay with Caldwell as Knapp was behind the net. Again, the Cougars need to get something going here if they want to get back in this one. They were outscored 4-0 in the second quarter. No. That was Glatfelter who was trying to get something going, and it's going to be post ball as the ball goes out of bounds. Successful clear for the Eagles. It's Parento who pushed it through, and now the Eagles slowing things down. McGrain's just chilling with the ball behind the net, and now he finally walks out with it. As the Eagles get their guys out there. It's DeNike now up top. DeNike over to Bryan. And now it's over to Cook. Cook with 4 first half points. Looking for more here in the second half. He had 14 points in total last week. Got him player of the week, like we mentioned. And now McGrain rips one out the net. And now he is tied for the program record in points. 202 in their career for Robbie McGrain. The next one will be the record. It's Robbie McGrain with his 4th goal of the day. leading the team. He hasn't led the team in goals for a game in a while. It's been Leighton Cook as of late. And it's been a lot of low-scoring affairs for the Eagles as well. But the last couple of games, they've really turned it on in the second half. We'll see if that's what the case is here. But again, the next point, whether it comes via assist or goal, will be the all-time record. McGrain already set the goal-scoring record earlier this year as well. So McGrain trying to cement his legacy here at post in what's been a fantastic 4-year career so far for him. Soltis with it behind the net, tries to push it in front, a backhanded shot, Waller with the save, and off comes Soltis. Looks like, no, he's not going to come off yet. He looks like he's running towards the sideline, though. Clear unsuccessful for the Eagles, and it's picked up over there by Tarnowski. Tarnowski now shot, saved by Waller. The ground ball picked up by Karras. Karras now is going to lose it. Gallery had it for a moment. He loses it, and now the ground ball is picked up by... Can't quite see the number over there. That's Cam Beckett who picked... Nope, sorry. That's Tom Pouliot who picked it up on the defensive end for the Eagles. Clear attempt is good. McGrain is on the field. Next point gets the record. McGrain's got it right now after getting the pass from McCarty. McGrain taking his time, rolling towards the middle, and now back out to DeKnight. 40-ish seconds on the shot clock left. Now that's Brian with it. Back over to DeKnight. DeKnight back over to Brian. And now down low to Cook. Brian again, up top to DeKnight. Now less than 30 seconds on the shot clock. McGrain over into the corner now. Pass to Cook. And it's good. Leighton Cook with the goal. That comes from, trying to see the number right there, McCarty with the assist. So that's Hunter McCarty with the assist. Leighton Cook, another hat trick. Make that 7 straight games with at least 3 goals for the junior attacker. He's second on the team in goals behind only McGrain now, who he came into the day tied with McGrain actually for the lead in goals, and now it's actually McGrain who took the lead back for the time being, but honestly that could change at the tip of a hat with today's game and how it's been going so far, depending on how the offense goes the rest of the way for post. Good face-off here. No one able to get to it yet. They're still fighting for it. Really been no movement on this one to get that one loose. It's Soltis, and I could not see who was in the face-off circle, but it looks like based on the size that is Charlie Foster. A lot of time coming off on this face-off. No, sorry, that was Jackson Holden. The ball finally pops loose, and it's picked up by the Eagles. Sproul picks it up. Another ground ball for him. He's going to get into the backfield with it. That's 5 ground balls for James Sproul. Charlie Foster's won 4 of 8 faceoffs. Jackson Holden 3 of 6. We're even on the faceoff, 7 for 14 for both sides. Robin McGrain with it over there now on the offensive end of the field. Back out to McCarty, who just had an assist on that last goal for post to Leighton Cook. The Eagles have not allowed a goal since the first quarter, and the 2 goals they gave up were both to Connor Pinkham. Cook now with it behind the net to McCarty. McCarty back out to Cook, and it comes back out top to Bryant. Over to DeKnight. DeKnight, and now that's McGrain with it. McCarty now has it behind the net, and they try and get it up top back to to McGrain, but it's slashed down over there by Tarnowski. Ball goes back the way of Caldwell. A little bit of pressure applied by McCarty. Tarnowski now looking to get over the midfield line. Yep, successful clear there for Tarnowski and the Cougars. And it's just going to be a straight turnover. They're trying to get it to Pinkham, and they could not. Post ball at midfield. DeKnight gets it over to Roman. Roman passes it in the middle, and then over the top. Cook nearly had a goal there. Couldn't see who it was from, and I think it was actually a nice pass behind the back by McGrain. But Cook couldn't finish the deal on it. Another turnover there for Caldwell. Sproul behind the back to McGrain. McGrain, the shot there taken by Cook, and it's stopped by Himmel-Maines, and then Himmel-Maines can't stop that one. That's another goal for Leighton Cook, and just like I said, at the drop of a hat, anything can change, and now they're both tied for the team lead in goals. Leighton Cook, 4 goals now on the day, 6 total points. Again, he had 7 in the previous 2 games each. So he had 14 points last week. He's trying to go for lucky 7s. That would be 3 straight games if he can get another point here today. 10-2 post. Jackson Holden in the face-off circle against Soltis again. Again, face-offs are even at 7 each for both teams out of the 14 total taken in today's game. They're going to get a face-off violation. Caldwell ball. The Cougars look to try and stop the bleeding here with 8:09 to go. See if they can pull off a comeback. Trailing by 8 right now, looking for their first win of the season. The Eagles looking to improve to 2-0 in conference play to start the young season after taking down Holy Family a couple days ago over the weekend on the road. All conference play from here on out for your men's lacrosse team, as they had a lot of early season non-conference games. Now they get back to just conference from here on out as Starr shoots that one high and wide. Knapp is going to get there first for it, and it'll be Cougars ball. Johnson with it. Behind the net. Johnson now trying to curl around, can't do so, gets it back up top. That's going to be Pinkham trying to take the shot, can't do it. Pinkham still looking for a little bit of space. He leads the team in goals now after his 2 today with 7. As it stands right now, Johnson behind the net, trying to get something going, passes it out to Starr, saved by Waller, and he jumps on that one. Eagle ball coming the other way now. Pouliot's going to push it up ahead, and that's up to midfield over to where Lee is. Lee looking for a little more space, he gets it. Lee across midfield is going to throw it over to Nick Gallery. Gallery over to McCarty. McCarty now down low to McGrain, slowing things down here with 7 minutes to go, and the time's still running. Post leads 10-2. They have not allowed a goal since the first quarter. DeNike with it up top. Throws it over to Brian. Brian down low to Cook. And behind the net to McCarty. Cook with 40 seconds on the shot clock. Back over to Brian up top to DeNike. Eagles wheeling around this offense so far. Now McGrain down low, and then it gets taken away, it looks like, by Owen Tarnowski. So Tarnowski takes it away. It looks like that'll be a turnover on McGrain. I do not think whoever he was trying to get it to, because I couldn't quite see who at the time, ended up getting a stick on it. On the offensive side with it now is Spencer Knapp. Knapp behind the net. Getting bullied over there by Cam Beckett. Now Pinkham with it. Pinkham, a little bit of space. Finds some daylight, shoots just wide of the net. Eagles a little lackadaisical there on defense that time, and they gave Pinkham just enough space to get that one off on Waller, but it went wide of the net. Caldwell got to the ball first, though, and they will continue to hold on to it here, as that's Johnson up top with it. Johnson behind the net to Pinkham. Pinkham throws it in front, and it's taken away by Sproul. I believe Sproul's got it. Yeah, Sproul's got it. It's hard to see with the long stick or not who exactly has it, but that is Sproul with it behind the net. Sproul pushing it up ahead to Pouliot. Again, Robbie McGrain sits at 202 career points. He has a shot to do it. Can he become the all-time leader in points on this possession here? He holds the ball right now with 5:30 to go. As the Eagles getting a few new guys out there. It's going to be Brian out there right now. It's the usual few for him. Brian now pushing his way in. And now he brings it back out to DeNike. They'll set things up offensively for the Eagles. As time ticks down here in the third quarter. Here in the second half. DeNike over to McGrain. McGrain over to Roman. Shot looks like it was blocked and deflected. It's going to stay with the Eagles. McCarty nearly had that point there. McGrain did. Would have been 2:03 if Roman was able to connect on the shot. McCarty over to Cook. Cook back up top to DeNike. DeNike over to Will Bryan, and Will Bryan's got another goal with the help of Ryan DeNike. Eagles now 11-2, and there's a flag on the play, so we'll hold for that. I think it was on Caldwell because it came after the goal. The goal is good, but then there was a whistle after the play for a flag. We'll see what that call was in a minute. McGrain got called for something. I don't know what. Looks like a misconduct penalty. I think that's what I heard was called as a misconduct. So there'll be no face-off. It'll be called a ball. I don't see on the clock how long the penalty is for. So there'll be no sin bin time for McGrain. It's just going to be a misconduct that gives the ball to Caldwell. And we'll play on here. Caldwell ball. About 5 minutes to go, just under 5 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Johnson's got it. Back up top to Fasoli. Eagles defense has been really good so far today in controlling Caldwell offensively. Really not, again, Aiden Waller's only had to make 9 saves on 11 total shots so far in today's game. Johnson over to Glotfelter. Glotfelter over. Can't quite see who that number was, and now it's behind the net. Over to Starr. Back up top to Pinkham again. Only 2 goals of the day so far for the Cougars. Now Glotfelter with it. Glotfelter working his way in and then tries to pass it up. He goes to Pinkham. Pinkham rips that one way high. Way high and wide of the net, and Johnson the first to it. It'll stay here with the Cougars. Post leading by 9. Have not allowed a goal since the first half of this one. As they're in transition the other way now. Lee. Over to McGrain. McGrain rips the shot, and it's saved by Himmelmains. Nearly had number 203 there. Going to be a penalty called at some point. Just saw the flag go up. I don't know who it's on yet. They're still fighting for the ball, and it's going to be on post. Get that call for you in a moment. It's going to be a 1-minute penalty to John Karras for a slash. So Caldwell will go on the man up now. Again, looking to get something going offensively. They really have not had much success so far against this Post defense. Post has, since the game was tied, so Post has scored 9 unanswered goals. The game was tied at 2 with 6:23 to go. And since then, they have not allowed a goal since. Eagles defense doing a really good job of clamping down on the Cougars so far since that early run they had. And then another shot there by Glotfelter is stopped by Waller. Sproul in transition, gets across midfield. McCarty over to McGrain. 203 in the 203. That's Robin McGrain with career point number 203. And he soars into the record books as the all-time leader in points for Post University men's lacrosse. Robin McGrain in 4 years surpasses former teammate Dylan Heald with 6 points today at 203 in his career. And Post leads 12-2 on the man-down goal by the captain of the team. Post still playing a man down, 10-on-9 for 29 more seconds. 2:47 remaining in the third quarter as Robin McGrain has just made Post University history with that goal. Face-off won by Charlie Foster. And Post continuing to hold on here as they'll probably just let this penalty run out there. They had numbers in transition. That's why McGrain was able to do what he did. What a nice save there by Leighton Cook. And McGrain nearly picked it up and had it in front of the net. Penalty expires on John Karras, that 1-minute slashing call. And now Connor Pinkham with it. Back up top with it is Peter Johnson. Johnson and the Cougars. No one's called timeout either yet in this quarter. They've kind of let things play out the way they may. Knapp, I think, nearly turned it over. Yeah, the ball's still loose, and that is probably going to be a turnover. Nope, that's going to stay with Caldwell. Couldn't see who the last touch was on, obviously, because of what was going on. And we got an injury, I believe, and I don't want to speculate because I can't quite see it from this distance. I think that's Tom Pouliot. Nope, that's not Tom Pouliot. Tom Pouliot's over there with them. Waiting to see number. That's Cam Beckett, who comes up limping a little bit. Beckett getting some help from Pouliot. It was the fours that kind of messed with me, and they're both defenders. They're both pretty big defenders over there, and Beckett is being helped off gingerly. He is putting weight on both legs, which is good, but he's being helped off by his teammate Tom Pouliot as the athletic trainer Alexis Scott is out there along with head coach Pat Iannarelli, helping Beckett get off the field. He'll be evaluated on the sideline, but Beckett was able to get up and get off on a little bit of help. With 1:46 to go, so brief stoppage here as Cam Beckett goes to the sidelines with an injury. We'll wait to see what comes of that. If he comes back in, he might be done for the day, especially with it being a 10-goal game at this point, and the Eagles' defense has just clamped down that really at this point. I don't know if they would have to do too much more offensively to take this game the way it's been going. Pinkham's got it. Pinkham trying to find some space. He gets it out to Uriguin. Uriguin behind the goal now. With it is Starr. Now Johnson trying to push his way in but can't do so. Back up top to Fasoli. Fasoli with some space back out to the side to Johnson, and behind the net with it is Starr again. Caldwell just really has not been able to get any of the space they're trying to find in the middle with the way this post defense is just double teaming anybody and everybody that comes in the general vicinity of them. And that's going to be another turnover for the Cougars, and back the other way with it comes Post. Van George out in transition with it. And now Cook will slow it down. We'll get last shot here for Post, which will take you into the fourth quarter. Eagles leading by 10, trying to make it 11 here. Leighton Cook with 6 points. Robbie McGrain with 6 points. Those are your players of the game right now if you're Post. DeNike with it, 14 seconds and counting. Eagles just playing around with it for the time being, and that's shot by Leighton Cook. Cooking up another one. That's 5 goals for him and another 7-point outing. That is 3 straight games with at least 7 points for Leighton Cook, as he's got his 5th goal of the game. Him and McGrain have just been going back and forth as they account for 10 of the 13 goals that Post has had so far in today's game. 8.9 seconds left. That's probably going to be the last shot or anything of this quarter. See how this face-off goes nonetheless, too, as well. And it's going to end up being, I think, a face-off violation. Yeah, one by Caldwell, 4.6 left. That'll pretty much run this one out, as they're not even going to be able to get a shot off. We'll take it to the fourth quarter, 13-2. Post leads Caldwell. Robbie McGrain making history as the new all-time points leader with a couple of points in the third. He's got 6 points on the day. Leighton Cook with 7. We'll finish you off, take you home the last 15 minutes here, right after the break. 15 minutes stand between Post and their third consecutive win of the year as they currently lead by 11 over Caldwell. They have not allowed a goal since the first quarter. Aiden Waller with 10 saves. Robbie McGrain, as we've mentioned multiple times now, the program record. We'll have an interview with him afterwards, and I think we'll get Leighton Cook up here as well, because Leighton Cook has been on an absolute tear, and we want to talk to him about that one. So those will be your two interviews after the game. We'll get you Leighton Cook and Robbie McGrain for the post game. I expect in this final quarter to see a lot more. I don't like to call them reserves or bench players for Post, just because everybody, if you're on the team, you really are a part of it. You're not any different from a starter. Everybody plays at some point or another. But I think you're going to see some of the people that aren't normally in the starting lineup getting into this one. Caldwell still, again, looking for that first goal since the first quarter, as they currently trail by 11. Pinkham has the only 2 goals for them. It's going to be another turnover as Gavin Lee picks it up and is off to the races for Post, who gets another one there, as that's Hunter McCarty with another goal, and the Post Eagles lead by 12 goals now, 14-2, with 13:49 remaining in this one. It's been all Eagles all day so far. And again, you got to give credit to all phases of the game so far for Post. The defense has really came to play in this one, and not just today, but in the last couple games. And even when you look at it as a whole, even last year, this offense and defense were very high-powered for Post in terms of conference play. They really did not have any issues trying to hold teams to low-scoring affairs. And in a lot of cases, there were games where they were not getting off to the offensive start or finish that they wanted to, and they were winning some tight games with less goals scored. And, the way this defense has played so far today, if they continue to do this against more and more of these conference opponents, they're going to be in good shape come postseason time. They did take on nationally ranked Malloy University, and that was a little bit of a struggle in the first half of the game, but as the game wore on, they started to get more comfortable with that fast start by the Lions. Just really ended up inevitably killing Post chances at winning it. The Cougars looking to do something on the offensive side of the field. 13 minutes to go. It's Johnson up top with it. And he gets it over to Fasoli. Fasoli with the shot stopped by Waller. And Glatfelter now is going to pick it up as that one went out of bounds. And continue things on for the Cougars. Shot there is grabbed out of the air by Waller. Looks like that was Pinkham who was trying to get his third goal of the game. Parento now over to Cook. Back to Parento. Couldn't quite get it. That's going to be loose on the ground, and it's going to be picked up by Drake, Angelo Drake. Clear is good across the midfield. Lee tried to get it away. William Henley III is out there as well for Post. Robbie McGrain is still out there playing, so some of the starters are still out there. Parento across midfield over to Cook. Like you mentioned, Cook having a very big game today. Another 7-point game for him. It'll be his third in a row. Now McGrain with it. As the Eagles, I think, are just going to try and waste as much clock as they can on this game with each possession that they have. McCarty behind the net with it. Now back out to Cook. Cook gets it over to Connor Denny. Denny trying to find something, spins, fires, and it's stopped by Himmel Maines, who continues to do the best he can with the situation he's in right now with it. He's made quite a few good saves in this one. As we look at the totals right now, he's had 9 saves so far, 14 goals allowed. For Waller, 12 saves, 2 goals allowed. Liam McCurry is actually now in net. He started the 4th for Post. McCurry, the last time we saw McCurry was actually against Malloy University. He took a delay of game penalty and then came out and did not return. This is his first action since that happened. As the Cougars have another turnover, we'll give you some scores going around Post right now with everything going on. Again, it's still not final, it looks like. We don't have confirmation about it, but it looks like Post Men's Golf is currently tied for second at the St. Anselm Tournament, Florida Invitational. Adelphi winning that one at 5 under. Braden Shea, it looks like it currently says he's at 2 under par, which puts him in second overall on the leaderboard, tied with Mitchell Archer. And then Post softball right now is taking on the University of Bridgeport in a doubleheader. They trail 4-0. Alyssa Calabrese pitching that one right now. 3 innings so far, 4 runs allowed, 2 strikeouts, 1 walk. And it says here she's only thrown 30 pitches. Not sure if that's accurate or not, but that's what's going around the Eagles today on your Tuesday. And then here right now, Post leading Caldwell 14-2 as time is winding down in the second half of this one. A historic afternoon for Robbie McGrain with his 6 points, is now the all-time program leader for points. As Caldwell's going to call a timeout, we'll take a timeout here at Post. 14-2, 9:39 to go in this one. Welcome back inside the broadcast booth. It's 14-2 with 9:39 to go. I almost said it backwards. Somehow the ball ended up in the one of the balls ended up over on the hill over there, and they have it back in play. And we're gonna continue things here as Caldwell just called the timeout. They currently trail by 12 goals. They have not scored since the first when they tied it up at 2. Caldwell scored first. Connor Pinkham 6th of the year, and then Eagles tied it back up. Pinkham came back with a 2nd of the game, team leading 7th, and ever since then it's just been all Post. And we're going to have another turnover by Caldwell. Pouliot picked it up, and we're going the other way with it, the Eagles, as the intensity and everything has slowed down a lot in the past couple minutes of not only this quarter, but towards after McGrain scored that goal. It's really kind of the pace of play has slowed down since then, with the Eagles leading at that time by 10. Now they're up by 12. Things have started to slow down as really the Eagles are honing in on their 3rd straight victory. And again, part of the sport is not pouring it on your opponents as well, as Tomas Simonovic just shot that one wide, as now you are starting to see the reserves. And just to give you an update, too, if you were watching earlier and you saw Cam Beckett go down, Beckett was being looked at for his knee by the athletic trainers on the sideline. He's just chilling out right there right now with his knee up on the trainer's table. He's not being looked at anymore. Again, we don't know the status of him, but it's good to see that he's up and watching the game and not being looked at any further. McCarty with the shot, saved by Himmelmains, and as we wind things down here some more, 8 minutes and change to go. Leighton Cook on the sideline now. I think McGrain's on the sideline too. Yeah, McGrain's on the sideline as well. So you are starting to see the players that don't normally start for Post get into this one. Caldwell looking for something, and that one is just going to be taken away. Johnson's pass is turned over as it's going to be Pouliot in transition the other way. Pouliot now, that one's rifled on net by number 7, Will Godbout. First time calling his name today. Wide, Simonovic is going to pick it up, and it's going to stay Eagles ball as we have reached the halfway point officially of the fourth quarter. Again, stick with us after the game. We'll have a post-game interview with both Robbie McGrain and Leighton Cook. Now, I should mention as well, this will be head coach Pat Iannarelli's 15th career win for Post, which is the new program record for a coach in terms of most wins for the program. Yeah, and Eagles just kind of playing around with it as Roman passed it over to Denike and back to Denike. Denike up top with less than 7 minutes to go. Now Roman trying to find his way in. I think that was a shot. Yeah, he shot that, and Himmelmains was able to make the stop. Couldn't see if it was more of a shot or if he just kind of fell with the ball. Back the other way with it is Caldwell. Get it across midfield successfully is Jack Hanf. Pinkham finds some room, fires, and he scores on McCurry. So Connor Pinkham with all 3 goals so far on the day for the Cougars. They break the scoreless streak almost exactly to the minute in second, I think. In fact, I'm going to look at this right now. If I'm not mistaken, the last time they scored a goal was... So with 6:20 to go, they scored. Yeah, nearly, can't quite do the math on that one, but I believe it's about 45 minutes since they've scored. They scored with 6:23 remaining in the first, and now they score with 6:20 to go here in the fourth. So if anybody at home wants to do the math on that, I believe it is 45 minutes and 3 seconds since the last goal, but I could be wrong on that one. So Connor Pinkham, 3 goals on the day so far. He's got all the goals so far for the Cougars, who now trail by 11. As it looks like that was a violation that's going to give the Cougars the ball. Johnson has it now, and here comes Caldwell trying to add on some more and give themselves a little bit of momentum going into their next game. Again, it's an 11-goal game. They're probably not scoring 11 here in the final 5 minutes. But, again, I've talked about it too when Post has been on the side of this stuff. You look for little things to build momentum off of and build on for your next game. And so for Caldwell, that's a big momentum builder in respects of, well, if you don't allow any goals the rest of the way, as that one's fired wide by Glotfelter, if you're able to build off of the small wins, like not allowing, let's say, Post to score here the rest of this quarter, and then you take the momentum of you guys scored here at the end of the game as well, you can take that into the next game and hope that you can build off of that going into your next matchup coming up. Because this one obviously is going to go the way of Post, but you look for those little tiny things that you can build momentum for your team off of heading into their next matchup. And for Post, you want to try and maintain your momentum as that one's shot, and it goes off the crossbar, and they're going to say afterwards that they're in the crease. So, yeah, that one narrowly escaped Liam McCurry from going in. It goes off the post, no goal. And it remains 14-3. So like I was saying, the other side of it is you don't want your team to have this big lead and not be able to continue momentum at the end of the game here. You want to continue to roll into your next game. So having a positive final quarter, even though you know you're going to end up winning this one, is super important. So the Eagles got to try and figure that one out, because so far in this quarter they have actually been outscored it's tied 1-1 in terms of goals scored after a 10-0 stretch between the middle two quarters. So Post wants to try and see, I would think, if they can just get a couple more at the end of this game to try and build off of this win today and take it into their next one, which will come up this weekend on the road against Georgian-Court University, a team they've actually lost to 7 of the last 8 times they've taken them on. So that'll be a big game to see if they can get off of that streak. I believe, if I remember correctly, looking at the stats from earlier, because I don't have them pulled up in front of me right now, they have lost 3 consecutive games as well to Georgian-Court, and they have not beaten them on the road in almost 10 years. I believe 2017 was the last road win. Eagles doing a little more moving around than they were earlier in this quarter. Luke Karras is out there for Post. Again, everybody kind of seeing a little bit of action now for the Eagles down the stretch with this lead being so large. 3.5 minutes to go, and Will Godbout trying to make some moves in there. Can't do so. It's picked up by Luke Karras. There's 2 Karrases on these teams, John Karras and Luke Karras, so I will specify anytime one of them gets the ball just to be safe. I don't want to accidentally just say Karras and the people at home don't know who we're talking about. So making sure to do that here as we wind things down. Bonfiglio's got it across midfield. The flag is coming. Probably on Post, considering Caldwell has the ball and they're not stopping play. So Caldwell has a chance to score here. It would wipe out the penalty, but if not, we'll get a penalty coming for Post here in the final moments of this one. Johnson rolling in with it with Gallery on him. Glotfelter, the shot goes wide, and it's going to go by way of Caldwell. And technical 30 for Will Bryan, 30 seconds in the box for him, so that will be a 30-second penalty releasable, obviously, if the Cougars were to score here. 2:45 remaining in regulation. Again, stay with us. I've been mentioning it a couple times. We will have 2 interviews coming up afterwards with the new program leader in points, Robbie McGrain, who sits at 203, and that's where he's going to stand here, as that's another goal there for the Cougars. That's Zachary Glatfelter with his first of the afternoon with 2:36 to go on the man-up advantage, which is now wiped out. Post now leading 14-4 with 2:36 remaining in this one. Now being outscored in this quarter as well, 2-1. So they had that stretch again, 10-0. Now they've been outscored 2-1 in the final quarter. They tied 2-2 in the first quarter. So really the middle 2 quarters are the only difference between these 2 teams right now. Or else, well, you can say that about pretty much any game that you watch. If you take out 1 or 2 quarters or 1 or 2 innings, whatever the sport may be, that it would change a lot. And, of course, that's the case here today. You'd actually have a 4-3 Caldwell lead if you take out those middle 2 quarters, though. McCarty's still out there, and now it's Gabe Roman. Eagles with 2 minutes to go. 2 minutes between them and victory. Liam McCurry so far has faced 2 shots and allowed 2 goals. The other shot that didn't go in was off the post, so that does not get credit as a save for him. Much like hockey, you can't get credit for a save if you don't actually make the stop. The post made the stop on it. Van George with it, trying to work his way in, fires, and that one stopped by Himmel Maines. As the wind picks up with 1:30 to go. And the 80-second shot clock So probably be it for the Cougars in terms of shots because I have to figure Post is just going to waste out the clock once they get possession here inside of a minute to go. Johnson dancing with it, gets it into Glotfelter. Glotfelter scores. 2 goals this quarter. No, I apologize. It looked like it went in the net. It actually was on the outside of the net. From this angle, it looked like it went inside of his knee and was in the back of the net. But Glotfelter missed it on the outside of the net. It was sitting on the outside of the net, and that's where McCurry was able to grab it. My apologies there. So we remain 14-4. Ground ball picked up there by McCarty, and that'll probably do it. 40 seconds left, and I have to figure he's just going to go behind the net and call this one a day. "30 seconds left, and again, we're just kind of running around with it. The Eagles are. John Karras now with it up top, and now Connor Denny. Is Connor Denny going to make a move to try and score? He does, and it's saved by Himmel Maines. Now Glotfelter the other way. I mean, he's going to just go for it then at this point, and Pinkham now loses it. Picked up by Henley III, and that'll do it. 5 seconds left, and it's dropped, and it's picked up by Post. And they soar to their 3rd straight victory. Post University, 14-4 over Caldwell. Here in their 2nd conference game of the year, the Eagles now moving to 5-3 on the year, 2-0 in conference play, while the Cougars fall to 0-6 on the year, 0-2 in conference play. Stick with us for a little while. We will have the post-game interviews with Robbie McGrain and Leighton Cook coming up right here on the CACC Network and YouTube. Right, we're back here with our post-game interview featuring Leighton Cook to start, and we also have Robbie McGrain up here as well. Leighton, you got 5 goals today, 2 assists, another 7-point game. That's 3 straight 7-point games for you. What has happened these last 2 weeks that you've exploded so much offensively?
Offensively, we just came as a team. You know, I can appreciate the boys just passing me the ball. That's all I can say is thank you to the boys. We're kind of passing the ball. That's all they can ask for.
7 straight games now with a hat trick as well. What does that mean to you?
Oh, it's pretty cool, I guess. I don't really try to worry about all those stats and stuff, but just got to keep putting the ball in the net and when the boys pass to me.
2-0 so far in conference play. You're on a 3-game winning streak, and the defense has really come alive. What have you guys been able to do in front of Aiden Waller that has really helped him out as a freshman in goal, but also helped you guys out offensively, especially in the early part of conference play?
Yeah, we've just been keeping our voices up, doing the small things. You know, got to do those little things to protect our goalie, keep the shots to the outside, you know, protect the middle, and that's kind of all we can do for him.
What do you guys have to do this weekend to beat Georgian Court? Tough team that you guys haven't beaten the last 3 years, and I believe 7 of your last 8 against them overall. How do you guys beat that team?
Yeah, you know, we got to be sharp. You know, all the little things, we just got to keep battling all the game. You know, we can't come out too flat. Just got to keep grinding the whole game. It's going to be a tough one, but it's going to be a fun one.
Leighton Cook, and now we'll bring in Robbie McGrain, who is now the program leader in points. Robbie, today you had 5 goals, 1 assist. You got exactly the number of points you needed to be the all-time record holder for points, 203. You passed your teammate Dylan Heald. What's that mean to be now the program's most highest point scorer?
It means a lot, and I can't thank those boys enough. I'm pretty sure if you look it up that if not almost all of my goals that I've had have been assisted, so it's not like I've been doing it myself selfishly. I really appreciate those guys and everybody that I've played with to help me reach that goal.
And then talk a little bit about you have been on offense a lot this year in terms of the goal scoring, but you and Leighton have both been kind of helping each other out a lot. How have you guys been able to build that connection this year to be so successful offensively?
Yeah, it started my second year when he came in, just practicing together every day, hanging out with each other at nights, on the weekends. But yeah, this season has been a real step up for us, and I always know where he is, and he always knows where I am.
And then what do you guys have to do again? Like I asked Leighton, Georgian Court going into that game, losers of 3 in a row, obviously against them overall in your head-to-head, as well as 7 of the last 8 against them. What do you guys have to do to kind of get over that hump against them?
Yeah, we just need to focus up in practice and get the little things done that we need to get done. We'll review the film on this game and our previous games and see where we need to tweak.
And finally, what does it mean to be part of exclusive 200-point club too alongside Dylan Heald? What's it mean to have somebody who you spent so many years with as well be part of that club with you as well?
It's awesome. I looked up to him when I first got here, and I couldn't appreciate him more. And for me and him to be there with each other means the world.
Senior attacker Robbie McGrain, who's now the all-time leading scorer in points with 203 in his career. Post University wins 14-4 over Caldwell University. They head on the road now to take on Georgian Court this weekend down in Lakewood, New Jersey.